How's it going, everyone? Blueknight here, and welcome back to another Ratchet & Clank video. So today, I want to discuss a group of characters in the Ratchet & Clank universe known as the Galactic Rangers, who were introduced to the series back in 2004 with Ratchet & Clank 3. Then I want to do a comparison between them and the Galactic Rangers in the Ratchet & Clank movie, as well as the 2016 reimagining. I know that they barely even existed in the 2016 reboot, still I think it's worth comparing the two. So without further ado, let's begin. We first meet the Galactic Rangers at the very start of Ratchet & Clank 3, when Ratchet's home planet, Veldin, was being invaded by an alien species known as the Tyrannoids, who were working for Dr. Nefarious. Upon arriving, they make Ratchet their new sergeant, and that they're more cowardly or simply chicken than really anything else.
Sarge, Blackwater City is under attack! The Noids came out of nowhere. The situation is extremely, well, we're pretty much hosed, sir. Run for your lives! Ah!
Even going as far as to make up some pretty ridiculous but pretty funny excuses to not help out in a battle whatsoever.
I just remembered I have a dentist appointment on Planet Iridia. Good luck with those bombs. Looks like you're going solo on this mission, Sarge. Yeah, the squad's got a mandatory aerobics class we can't miss. Anyway, give those fluoride scum sacks a whooping for us.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. I mean, they do help out most of the time, but when they do, they don't do all that much damage to begin with. Probably one of the best and funniest moments where they were actually pretty useful happened off camera during the Tyrannosis missions.
Anybody have any idea how we're supposed to shut down this force field? H-26, why don't you try sticking your finger in the main power transformer? Are you sure that's a good idea, sir? This thing looks pretty dangerous. Suck it up, 26, you got nothing to worry about. I got special training with electronic, thingamajiggies. Okay, here goes. H-26, come back.
H-26 has been vaporized, sir, but the force field has been deactivated.
That still gets me to this day. Along with many of the game's new characters and mechanics, some of which actually include halo dropping into the battlefield and fighting by the Rangers' side. Even listening to them argue back and forth concerning inconsistency between the stories that they've heard amongst each other.
Yeah, this reminds me of the sewer war on Planet Aquatos back in '62, when I killed a king amoeboid with my bare hands. I heard the amoeboid swallowed you, sir. I heard you were AWOL until you, turned up a week later floating in a toilet on Planet Barian. Shut your trap, H-22! You weren't there and you don't know nothing about it!
Sir, I heard the same story. Only, I heard it was more like 2 weeks.
All units maintain radio silence.
Making it all such a satisfying element compared to some of the other games in the series. It even feels like that Ratchet's not just fighting hordes of enemies on his own, which happens to be the case more times than not. Heck, the Galactic Rangers even have a bit of character development throughout the course of the game, going from, like I mentioned earlier, complete cowards to being more confident and less cowardly as the game progresses. This really shows during the final battle with Dr. Nefarious, where the Rangers surprisingly show up to help out Ratchet during the final stretch of the battle, which was a really nice way of changing things up compared to Ratchet jumping in to help them instead, making for probably one of the best final boss segments in the franchise. In my opinion anyways. So yeah, one could say that these are some of the best and most enjoyable side characters in the series. Again, this is my opinion. Too bad they don't make any more appearances after Up Your Arsenal. Well, at least until 6 years later in the 6-issue Ratchet & Clank comic series, which takes place between A Crack in Time and Into the Nexus, and was written by the writer of the Future Saga, TJ Fixman. But the Galactic Rangers do make one more appearance, and that was in the movie and PS4 reimagining back in 2016. And honestly, I was left rather disappointed with this part of the entire reboot, as this is essentially just Kronk from the Future series just copy and pasted all over the place, and then just titled the Galactic Rangers. No, I mean just... huh? I honestly don't even know why I'm complaining about this, since they only got like maybe a couple minutes worth of screen time to begin with. Like, the most we really see of them is... pretty much. Okay, when I first heard, years before the film came out, that it would be including Dr. Nefarious and the Galactic Rangers from Ratchet & Clank 3, I was beyond excited, because it was one of my top games in the series at the time. Yeah, I could understand Nefarious being an organic as opposed to being a robot until the end, and President Phyronix making a quick cameo, but why did they go this route with the Rangers? Why couldn't they just bring back the original designs? They had personality, a good design, and this likable charm to them. It makes no sense why they did this, and it feels kind of lazy if you ask me. And I think partially the reason for that is something to do with the inclusion of the new Galactic Ranger characters, Brax Lectrus, Cora Verilox, and Elaris, whom Captain Quark is the leader of. Yeah, he sort of had the same position in Ratchet & Clank 3 after restoring his memory, but in that game the only other new character associated with the Rangers was Sasha Phyronix. And the only other characters that Quark led in that game was his Q-Force, which were characters from the original first game. I get it, they had to get bigger name voices for the movie to possibly help it perform better at the box office, thus giving more focus and screen time for those specific characters. I get it, but that was no reason why certain characters were just kind of put to the side. The PS4 game did this quite a bit more than the film. Like Nefarious, for instance. He's only seen at least a few times in the entire game, then next thing you know, oh, he's the final boss. Overall, I think the 2016 reboot was just trying to do too much to please a lot of different Ratchet & Clank fans with mixed results. I'm one of those fans that do enjoy the film for what it is. As far as the Galactic Rangers go, though, I vastly prefer the originals over the ones in the reimagining, which were just sort of there. Whereas the original, they had a more prominent role in the story, and overall being much more interesting versions of the characters. I just wish that they were properly brought back for the reboot, and the possibly non-existent excuse for needing them to look more up to date in the reboot. Sorry, if Thugs for Less can return like 10 years later in Into the Nexus while still kind of resembling their Golden Commando designs, then why can't the Rangers? Insomniac Games, if you are watching this, and plan on bringing the Galactic Rangers back at some point, then please, use the same designs, or at least only slightly alter the designs, so that it doesn't take away from who they are, and what fans remember them to be. Anyways guys, this actually went on much longer than I initially planned on it being, and I apologize if it was me more so ranting than making an actual comparison, which trying to say much of anything about the 2016 version of the Rangers. Yeah, you're not going to get as far as you would with the originals, but I just wanted to put my thoughts out there concerning this specific topic, and I definitely look forward to seeing what you guys think about this in the comment section below. If you want to stay up to date on anything Ratchet & Clank, more content is on the way, so be sure to stay tuned to the channel for that. Once again, thank you all so much for watching and supporting the channel. I've been Blueknight, and I'll see you guys back here next time. Goodbye.
What?